All right. Well, I think I'm gonna start reviewing whiskeys on this channel, even though it's mostly about moonshine and mostly about making whiskeys. But God knows I've drank enough fucking liquor that I'm a fucking vast storage of knowledge on the taste of what different liquors are. So this one's gonna be on Dewars White Label. Every once in a while, you don't want to spend a lot of money on a bottle. And Lord knows I've got tons of empty bottles. I could show you all kinds of empty bottles that just cost a fortune. And they go down like every other kind of liquor, especially when you drink as much as I do. Sorry to have to admit, not sorry. But Dewars White Label, I figured I'd give a try because I love scotch. I love Irish whiskey. I like bourbon, but I'm not the biggest fan of bourbon. I don't think bourbon is very sophisticated. Even when it gets old, it's just not that good. I don't know. Maybe it's my own personal preferences. Maybe it's that my last name is an Irish last name. But I prefer a Scotch and Irish whiskey. So I saw Dewar's at the liquor store, and I said, you know what? I'll drink Dewar's 12. I'll drink Johnny Walker Black. I'll drink Jameson Black, or I'll drink what's the other Bushmills Black Bush, and those are still pretty pricey liquors. But Dewar's White Label, I think I paid $18.79 for this bottle. So we'll give it a little smell. It smells like malt. It's a little jaggedy around the edges. Not too much, though. It's not outrageously bad. I've had bourbons that are far worse than this on the nose. And Irish whiskey that's far worse than this on the nose. That costs more money than this. Let's remember, $18.79. I mean, that's cheap. So we'll give it a little sip. It's got little legs in the glass. Yeah, I mean, it's smooth. It's malty. Is it sophisticated? No, not very much, but it's $18.79. Is it drinkable? Fuck yeah, it's drinkable. Probably make a good mixer too. If you like scotch and soda, or, make some kind of, I don't know, Scottish highball or something like that. I don't drink a whole lot of mixed drinks. I just like to slurp it down raw. So one more sip, one more sniff. I'd say it's mostly malt. It tastes mostly malt, and it's not offensive. It's okay. You know what I mean? Now, from what I understand, Dewar's is a blend of about 40 different whiskeys, but their main whiskey ingredient is their own distillery, Aberfeldy. You know what I mean? And this is the Aberfeldy 12. This bottle's probably 2 years old, 3 years old, and it was $42 back then. I think it's gone up a little bit. It's probably closer to 45, 47 now, at least where I live. No single malts are cheap. No high end Irish whiskey or high end bourbon is cheap anymore. The market has just exploded on this pricing. But I do get a taste for I like the Aberfeldy 12. It's not my favorite, but it's good. And I think I've had the Aberfeldy 16, I think it is. They make one up from this. I think it's a 16, and I've tried it, and it wasn't bad. It's not that much different than the 12. It's not worth the price jump. You know what I mean? And even the Aberfeldy 12, if it's up towards 45, 47 now, I would say it's not worth it. There are other scotches in that price range, like Abelauer and some of these other ones that are in that price range. I would recommend far more than Aberfeldy. And all of my favorite scotches and all of my favorite Irish, like Redbreast, Bunnahabhain, uh, even stuff like uh, Oban, all of my favorite scotches and Irish whiskeys. Forget about Green Breast, Yellow Breast. I mean, Green Spot, Yellow Spot. They're all so fucking expensive now. So what would I say? What would my final thoughts on Dewars White Label be, whose main ingredient is Aberfeldy, which is a mediocre single malt scotch, but is the main ingredient in the Dewars White Label, and probably all the Dewars. It's probably the main ingredient in all the Dewars line, whether it's the Dewars 12, 15. They've got these new Caribbean cask and all this bullshit they put out. My final thoughts would be, for $18.79. Well, it's about as good as you're gonna get for $18 and change. You know what I mean? A bourbon in that price range, it's gonna be fucking like drinking gasoline. I don't even know if you could find a decent Irish in that price range, and it would probably be shit too. So, I haven't looked into what regular Johnny Walker would be, or some of these other low end scotches would be, but for $18.79, out of 10, I'd give Dewars about a 6.5. After about 5 drinks, I'd probably take it up to a 7, because who the fuck can taste anything at that fucking, once you're that fucking polluted. So, we're going to call this series The Drunk Irishman Reviews Whiskey. So, for one of my first whiskey reviews, the Dewars White Label, we give it a 6.5. And considering it's less than half the price of its main ingredient, single malt, I'd say that's not bad. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid to try Dewars White Label at 18 and change. Maybe it's 20. I've seen some places where it sells for $22. I don't know if I'd go that high with it, but for $18.79 a bottle, compared to its main ingredient being $47 a bottle and not being that good, I'd give Aberfeldy only a 7 anyway, maybe a 7.2 if on a good day. It's not really that good of a single malt. So to get it for less than half price and being the main blend in Dewars, I'd go with the Dewars White Label. You know what I mean? If you want to save a little money, you're looking to sit down with a bottle, not spend the booty, and still get a buzz, you could do far worse than Dewars White Label. All right? There you go. Go Bruins. Later, people.